All right. Hi, you guys. I wanted to go over kind of what we talked about yesterday and go over a little bit of the math that we assigned for you guys this week. So you need to make sure that when you're opening up Google Classroom that you're signing in with your libertyesd.org email. Okay, if you forgot this, for most of you, it's your first initial last name, and then remember your password is the Liberty, and then whatever your assigned classroom number was. So remember one of you was number 1, number 2, number 3, and so forth. So your password should be fairly easy to remember, but if you need any of that information, just have your parent message me, okay? So when you guys log into Google Classroom, you should see this right here, Evans 4th grade, and you would click on that. The stream, you guys, that just shows the most recent assignments I've posted or any links I've shared. What I want you to do is go to Classroom. And in Classroom, you're going to see distance learning assignments and distance learning resources. Resources are going to be any links that you guys need to access, whether it be Zoom, our 4th grade website. If we have any additional websites I need to tell you guys about, that'll be here. Okay. Distance learning assignments. This is where all of your assignments while we are doing distance learning, this is where they will all be. So our first one in here is for this week. The dates are 4/14 through 4/17. Okay, so you would click on here and you would see that you have a PDF story. Okay, that is our story for the week. So if you are wanting to do read, because I know it asks for specific pages. So if you open this up, you might need to download it. Okay. Oops. So I'll try and fix that there. For some reason, it's not popping up. But that's for you to read through the pages. There's also a link on your actual assignments, which is what I just clicked on the slides. Okay. There's also a link to listen to the story. And so there's that option there as well. Okay. You guys also have an option for spelling. You guys only have to do one or the other. You're not being asked to do all of this. Notice it says one spelling activity or reader's notebook. Okay. Or means one or the other. Don't do both. Don't do everything. Okay. So Wednesday, it says one spelling activity on Google Classroom or Reader's Notebook, page 294. What that means is you can either go to page 294 in here, or I also have it uploaded right here. There's 294. Okay, if you wanted to still do the workbook page, but type it in. And you still have the option of doing one of these if you don't want to do the reader's notebook page, okay? So just like you would before, you're going to open up a new Google Doc. You can do ABC order, color code, typing letters, whichever, silly sentences, you can do that. You can do one of those and share the document with me that way, okay? Same thing for Thursday. Says lesson 22 grammar on Google Classroom or Reader's Notebook. So what that means is the grammar is this right here. So contractions, okay, contractions with not. So for example, a contraction with not is can't. Can't means cannot, right? You can't go to the store. I cannot go to the store. So that's what it's asking for here, contractions with not. So there are not any blue hats in the window today. The contraction is whenever you are making two words into one with the apostrophe. So for example, are not would be aren't. There aren't any blue hats in the window today. Okay, so you could type your answer here, you guys, or do it in your reader's notebook. Okay, those are your options. You only do one. You don't do the page on here and in your notebook because it's the same work. And back to the schedule. Same thing for Let's see, Friday, it says Google Classroom, Esther Morse interview, or page 289 to 90 of Reader's Notebook. And so here is the interview, okay, the interview with Miss Esther Morse. You would type in your answers where it says click here to type, or again, let's say you're not a fan of typing, you can go to page 289 in your workbook, and you're like, Miss Evans, I just prefer to write paper and pencil. Same page, okay, same thing. I just know some of your parents may not want you on tech all day, which I totally understand. Or some of you just prefer writing. And so like paper, pencil. And so that's fine as well. I'm going to be sending a message out to your parents with how they can show me you are doing your work. Okay. But that'll come later. Let's see, back to the schedule. Okay, math. I know some of you are going to have questions about math. Okay, so let me zoom in here. Let me see, view. Zoom, 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 zoom. Okay, so it says for numbers 1A through 1C, write an equation or a comparison sentence using the numbers on the tiles. If you take a look here, let me get my annotate pen. Boom. Okay, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You have 9 boxes here. Okay, you have 9 boxes. So you have 9 times as many as 4 equals 32. Where did I get the 32 from? Right here. That's my answer. Remember, is means equals, okay? So if I were to write that out, it would look like this, right? Oops, that should be a 3, 2, sloppy, sorry you guys. But that's what it would look like. 9 times 4 equals 32, right? If I were to use numbers. However, it wants you to do the sentence. So that is where you would click here, where it says click here, and you would erase that text and put the numbers in. So you'd put 9, because that's how many boxes we have total, 9 times as many as what numbers inside the box 4 is 32, okay? Same thing for 1B. You have your answer, okay, count how many boxes you have total, and then the number that's inside the box. So 8 times some number should equal 48, okay? Same thing for 2A and 2B. There is also on page SB2, this is just the word problem, you guys, but it's the same concept, okay? It says, at the pet fair, Darlene's dog weighed 5 times as much as Leia's dog. Together, the dogs weighed 84 pounds. How much did each dog weigh? Complete the bar model. Write an equation and solve. So I know this was one of the confusing parts of this lesson whenever we did it. Okay, and so I want to go over that with you guys. And so you need to make sure that you're paying attention to the really important parts of this question. Remember, word problems are all about taking the most important parts out and putting it into a number equation, okay? So remember here, where it says click here and click here, these 2 lines, this is where you put their names, who we're talking about. And so it says Darlene's dog weighed 5 times as much as Leia's. Well, if you look here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes, okay? So Darlene's name would go here because Darlene has 5 times as many. So if Darlene's name goes here, then Leia's name goes here, okay? And so remember inside the boxes, in order to represent a number, we would put in, right? So what you would do is you would put in, right? Because we don't know that number yet. So here is what they should total. So if you look together, it says together the dogs weighed 84 pounds. So you're going to put 84 in this side box here that's next to the bracket. Okay, and so here, you guys, is where you would type in, where you would show your work. All right, so now you need to write an equation and solve it. So I'm going to give you guys the example. And so this is where you need to count the total boxes. So I have all of Darlene's boxes, which is 5, and I have Leia's box, which is an additional 1. So I have 6 total boxes. Okay, so I'm going to go 6 times. Remember, I don't know what number goes inside the box yet, and it's represented by n. So 6 times n should equal 84. Now I need to think. 6 times what gives me 84? All right? And so that's where I would put n equals, and that's where you need to solve, okay? And so if you were to work out the problem, so I'll do this one for you guys here. 6 times 14 equals 84, right? So n equals 14. However, remember, I don't stop there because I need to know how much both dogs weigh. So I know n, right, here, okay? Leia only has 1 box. So Leia's dog weighs 14 pounds. Okay. I know her dog weighs 14 pounds. She has 1 box. But how about Darlene? Darlene's dog weighs 5 times as much as Leia's. So what I'm going to do in that instance is I'm going to take the weight of Leia's dog, which is 14 pounds, and I'm going to multiply it by 5, and that's going to give me how much Darlene's dog weighs. So I would put Darlene's dog weighs 70 pounds because 14 times 5 is 70. Okay. So just make sure you're filling in all the boxes here. I didn't do that there. I just kind of did it here for you guys. All right. So make sure you're getting that done. Let's take a look at the next math page. Okay. It says Ursula bought 9 dozen rolls of first aid tape for the health office. The rolls were divided equally into 4 boxes. How many rolls are in each box? Okay, so this is a multiple step problem. First, you need to know how much is a dozen, right? Think a dozen eggs, 12. Okay, so this is where she bought 9 dozen rolls of first aid tape. So you need to do 9 times 12. Okay, so 9 times 12. If you were to do that in your head, just think about what the answer would be. Okay, think about it. And once you multiply 9 times 12, you get the answer there. But you don't stop there. Okay, it's asking those rolls were divided into 4 boxes. So now you're going to do 9 times 12. And I'm going to tell you it's 108. Okay, so I have 108 in my head. But now I need to divide 108 by 4. Okay, and that's going to give me my answer. And that is what I put here. So 108 divided by 4, that's how many rolls are in each box. All right. Same thing. There are 112 seats in the school auditorium. There are 7 seats in each row. There are 70 people seated, filling up full rows of seats. How many rows are empty. This is also a multiple step problem. Okay, I know you guys are like, oh, but these are the ones we kind of had fun going through those several days. It was a process, but I miss doing that with you guys. So there's 112 seats in the school auditorium, 7 seats in each row. All right. So what you would do is you would take 112 and divide it by 7. And that's going to let you know how many rows you have total. Okay. Because you have 112 seats and there are 7 seats in each row. So you take 112 divided by 7. All right. And that is going to give you 16. So you know there are 16 rows total. All right. So now you need to figure out, okay, so I have 16 rows total and 70 people are seated already. Okay. So I need to think, okay, 16 rows, 70 people seated. So I need to think, 112 seats, 70 people are seated. So this is where it can get confusing. I know I have 16 rows, okay, 16 rows total. You might want to write that number down, keep it to the side. But now I know out of 112 seats, 70 are already taken. So I'm going to take 112 and subtract 70. I'm left with 42 seats, right? I have 42 seats are empty, but it's not asking me for seats. It's asking me for rows. Again, how many rows are empty? Well, I have 42 seats, okay? Now I need to take 42 and divide it by 7 because there are 7 seats in each row. So 42 divided by 7, 6. That means I have 6 rows empty, okay? So now I want you guys to do 3 and 4 on your own. If that was confusing, have your parent message me. We can always do a Zoom one-on-one. I'd be happy to walk you through that more, okay? Same thing for 5 and 6, you guys. Chad bought 8 dozen notepads for his office. The notepads were divided equally into 6 boxes. Again, you have to think, how many are in a dozen? 12. Excuse me. So you need to take 12 times 8, and then you divide it by 6, and that's going to get you the notepads, all right? Same thing for 6. I'm going to leave you guys to do that on your own. 7 says the number of gray pigeons on a wire is 6 times the number of white pigeons. Choose one expression from each column to create an equation that compares the number of gray pigeons and white pigeons. So you guys, this is where I would take probably like a drawing tool, okay? Or even that. So, or here it says click here and write the full expression. So what that means is it says choose one expression from each column, write an equation that compares the number of gray pigeons and white pigeons. And so what that would mean is, let's see, 6 times the number of white pigeons. So I know, right, there are, let me erase this. 6 times the number of gray pigeons on a wire, 6 times the number of white pigeons, okay? So I'm going to take 6, and white pigeons are represented by W, okay? So 6 times the number of white pigeons would equal my number of gray pigeons, okay? So that's what it's asking for there. I know this is pretty confusing because we haven't done the expressions in quite some time, but that's one possible answer, okay? Or another possible answer is taking, you can do the number of gray pigeons divided by, I don't think I have a divided by on here. I'll put slash for divided by. So gray pigeons divided by 6 could equal my total of white pigeons, okay? So that's what it means by an expression, all right, with the comparisons. Notice I took 6, where is it? G, right? So I took my G from here and my 6W from here. So I selected one expression from each of the sides to write my full expression here. That's what it's asking for there. Again, if it's super confusing, that is fine. You can save this for when we have a Zoom on Friday. Okay, I will be more than happy to go over that with you guys. Here, you are going to need to use this nice little model here, okay? Rudy will buy 3 ivory silk lilac trees or 2 bur oak trees. He wants to buy the trees that cost less. What trees will he buy? So you need to take a look. He says he wants to buy 3 ivory silk lilac trees. So how much is a silk lilac tree? Well, regular price is $25, but it says price for 3 or more. So I need to use the 22 because he's buying 3 or more in that case. So you take 3 times 22, okay? And that's going to give you the cost of ivory silk lilacs. Now, I also need to figure out the cost of 2 bur oak trees. So I need to find bur oak trees. Oh, okay. Bur oak trees are $35. He wants to buy 2. So I need to take 35 times 2. Okay. So that will give you the price for the bur oaks. Now you need to think, is 3 times 22 greater than or less than the 35 times 2? Okay. He wants the trees that will cost less. All right. So that's where you need to figure out which ones cost less, and you would show your work here. Just, I did it verbally, but you would type out the 22 times 3, solve it, and then do your 35 times 2, solve it, and explain. He will buy this type of tree because it cost such and such. All right, trying to do it without giving you guys the answers. Same thing for here, you guys. Okay, just calculating costs. It says this next page, which is SB6, Chris and Julio played a card game together. They scored 36 points in one game. Chris scored 2 times as many points as Julio. How many points did Chris and Julio each score? Write an equation and solve. Whoa, that's a lot of words, right? I know some of this was a little difficult in the classroom too, and that's okay. The word problems are always a doozy, but I promise you guys, the book starts off with these word problems, but next week we'll get into more of just number equations, so it'll be so good, yay! Okay, you just gotta trudge through this word problem stuff with me, all right? So again, Chris and Julio played a card game together. Oh, they scored 36 points. Okay, so this is where you need to represent the number of points by the number n. Okay, so you would put, here, I'll do this. So he scored, Julio, it's kind of like our box ones again. So Julio scored in a number of points, right? Chris scored 2 times a number of points. So Julio scored some number, Chris scored 2 times as much, but together, right, it should equal 36, okay? And you're like, Miss Evans, that's super confusing. I'm getting to it, all right? So remember, I have 2 ends here and 1 end here. So think of them like boxes. How we would do the boxes like that, right? So how many total boxes do you have? 3. So 3 times some number equals 36. This is where you guys need to do the work. Okay. 3 times what number equals 36, and that will give you n. Okay. So n equals something. And so we know that's the amount of points Julio scored. But now you need to take whatever that number may be and multiply it by 2 to get Chris's points. So you should have technically 2 answers in this problem. You need to give me an answer for the amount of points Julio scored and the amount of points Chris scored. Okay, I want you guys to attempt it, but don't get yourself to the point where you're super frustrated and flipping your lid. Okay, we don't want that. Just try your best. And if you struggle with it, save it to work on it with me. I'd be more than happy to FaceTime you if that's easier, or we can do it through Zoom as a whole class. All right. But I'm here for you guys in that way. I'm here anytime you need me, really. Okay. But yeah, so that is how the work will go. It's a lot less than the packets, you guys. And so hopefully this is a little easier to manage in that way. Again, let's say some of you are like, sometimes I kind of don't like doing the math and online. I need to write on paper. That's okay. I'm perfectly fine with that. You guys got these handy dandy books whenever you picked up your stuff from the school. Okay. And if you open it to SB1, okay, this is the same work that we uploaded here. All right, so let's say you want to use this for your work and, just transfer it to there. That works too, kind of double the work. But if you only want to do it in here, again, you can have your parent take pictures of your work and send it to me. The reason why we want to see your guys' work is because I want to know where you guys are at. What are you retaining? That means what are you holding on to in your brain? What do we need to touch up on? And so I want to make sure that we're still keeping up with our math fluency. Just like our multiplication fluency, you guys, it's so important. So, whenever you're out doing something, maybe go through your 2s in your mind. Go through maybe do your 3s as you're cleaning up your room or anything like that. Practice that fluency. It is so important. Okay. So important. But again, you guys, I'm here if you need me. Hopefully I didn't babble on too long. If my video didn't make sense, because teaching math through here is kind of hard, I'm sorry, but reach out to me and I'd be so happy to walk you through it step by step and share my whiteboard screen with you guys. But again, take your time, you guys. Reach out when you need me. Hopefully this work is a lot less and more manageable for you. I miss you guys so much, and I cannot wait until we are all reunited again. I miss your guys' sweet little faces and such. But yeah, you let me know if you need help. Oh, the writing before we go. Some of you guys had questions about the writing. Miss Evans, where do I do the writing? You can do the writing in your writing journals, because I made sure to send those home as well. You can do it in there, or like we do with spelling, you can open up a Google Doc and type in there and share it with me. I'll leave it up to you guys. Some of you guys prefer writing paper pencil. That's great. Sometimes I'm like that too. Some of you guys prefer typing. That works as well. But you can choose whatever prompt you want from this page and do it that way, okay? But again, I miss you guys, and I hope you're staying safe, taking care of yourselves, and being good for your parents and nice to your siblings. Okay, so you guys let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you on our next Zoom. If I can find where it says stop recording.